It's Clipper Blog Live. The Clippers don't like referees. Referees don't like continuous play. PJ Tucker does not like Blake Griffin, but Blake Griffin likes lucky bounces. Joining us from New York City, Fred Katz.
Patrick, role reversal today.
A little bit of a role reversal today. Anything goes today after a game like that. Fred, what did you think of that game? That was absolutely nuts.
It was okay. That's all right. Yeah, it was a basketball game. Why not? It was insane. I mean, I didn't even see the first half because I was at the Nets game and I was commuting back from Brooklyn, and it was just totally it was unbelievable. That finish was amazing. Seeing Jamal Crawford's first career ejection was just a phenomenal thing to witness. It was Blake's 45-point performance. The way they came back in overtime, that insanely lucky three. It was great.
It was totally insane. I thought there was a 0% chance. I think I went as high as 8% chance of the Clippers coming back in this game following what happened in the what? I don't know how many minutes there were left when Crawford got ejected, but it just seemed like that was a recipe for disaster. The Clippers kind of stopped playing. They seemed to be totally taken out of their game, and they managed to kind of put it together. Do you think? Did you see anything after everything kind of spiraled out of control that made you think, oh, the Clippers are going to win this at any point in that game before it went to overtime?
I mean, if Eric Bledsoe decided that he wasn't going to play basketball anymore, that probably would have helped them, considering Bledsoe was maybe, even though Blake had 45 and 8 or whatever it was, Bledsoe might have been the best player on the floor tonight, right? And is that totally possible?
Well, yeah. I mean, the difference is that Bledsoe was initiating everything, and the ball would be in his hands so much. So he could kind of take control in a different way than Griffin, but it's kind of hard to say that anyone other than Griffin was the best player on the floor.
Yeah, I guess I'm not qualified to make. That's my first hot take of the night, because I'm not even qualified to have that opinion because I didn't even see the first half.
It doesn't even matter. What happened in the first half doesn't even matter because they were basically, let's see, they were basically tied at the end of the first half. So. Or the Clippers were up 3. So, what's everything happened in the third and fourth quarters. I mean, Bledsoe is absolutely just he came to play. Eric Bledsoe revenge game, I guess if you want to call it that. It seems weird for it to be a revenge game since before the game, I believe Doc Rivers said it's like we knew he was going to be gone. He knew he was going to be gone. It was a foregone conclusion. So it's not like they traded him because they didn't want him. It's because they knew he was going to leave. So I don't know what he has to avenge, but everyone likes a good bit of revenge, I guess, now and again. And he was so good. He's so strong. That rebound he got near the end of regulation just showed you how much Eric Bledsoe wanted to win the game.
Yeah, also the block on Paul was just, I mean, that block on Paul at the end of regulation was amazing. I'll tell you something that really stood out to me, though. It was at that last play in overtime, or I should say second to last play in overtime with 5.6 seconds left, whatever it was. They ran that play, which they ran for a game winner last year, which was the Clippers going to Blake Griffin late in crunch time. They set off Griffin. They gave Griffin an option. Griffin could either pass, Griffin could drive, or he could drive and kick. He chose the drive and kick option. They fouled him because the Suns had the foul to give. But going to Griffin in crunch time late is not necessarily something we always see. They went to Chris Paul late in the fourth quarter on that final play where Paul dribbled around the double screen, went to the hole, and he got blocked by Bledsoe at the rim to end the game. And then right after that play didn't work, with about 2 seconds left, Griffin got the ball again on the next inbounds. Which was something that was clearly run for him. He posted up his guy right at the three-point line, created space, and shot the step back. he's been working with Bob Tate on that step back. That was one of the main things he worked on with him over the summer. They've been working on that step back actually for 2 years now. He's so comfortable with it. He broke it out in the preseason and started doing it, and he's really, really comfortable. He should be taking more threes, right? I mean, we've been talking about this since the start of the season. He went 2 for 2 from 3 today, and he should have even taken more today because he had the patented Caron Butler play where he had an open 3. He took one dribble in and took a 20-footer, and he had another play where he did a step back and his heel was on the line. When if you're going to shoot from 23, you might as well shoot from 23-9. He should be taking. I'm not saying Blake Griffin should be taking tons of threes, but if you're going to be taking 23-footers, take 24-footers instead. They're just as hard, and they're a lot more value.
Yeah, I mean, I have almost nothing to add to that. It's the risk reward is so much greater, and yeah, of course, shoot them. But if you're going to shoot a 23-footer, you should be shooting a 24-footer. There's almost never the situations in which a foot on the line shot is a good shot are so weird and specific to there's just not that many of them. It's always better to be getting that 3.
Let me ask you this, since you watched more of this game than I did. Why was Blake so good tonight? I mean, looking at the box score, he got to the line a ton, which is something he hasn't done as much this year. He finished at the rim. He made his shots. Obviously, his 45 on 24 shots is a ridiculous game. But what was he doing that made him so effective the whole game?
Well, there are a couple things. The Clippers got. I think he realized that there's just nobody that can guard him on this team one-on-one. Even Len, who has the length to frustrate him, and is going to be a good player in this league. There's just nobody on this team that can do anything against him when he, other than a double team. They were effective double teaming him a couple times early on in the game. But I think when Griffin was catching the ball on the move or catching the ball and making a decisive move quickly, it was just game over. He got to the hoop over and over again a bunch of times. The Clippers also had a really nice string of plays. I believe this was in the third quarter when they got really great action out of the kind of high-low pick and roll that is like their bread and butter a lot of times. There was one time, the first time they ran it, it resulted in Griffin getting the ball, ending up with the ball after the pick and roll at the free throw line, and then immediately doing the lob to DJ. DJ gets a dunk. I think he missed the dunk and then got the rebound and put it right in. So that's a successful play. The very next play, they do it again, and I think they just got a successful lob for DJ. And then the next time they did it, it resulted in Griffin making an extra pass to Barnes, who makes an extra pass to CP3, who makes the corner 3. I know you were asking about Griffin specifically, but the thing is, when he's on the move like that, and they're really running that high-low pick and roll, that makes people scared, on a defender scared. Other thing, he was knocking down some jumpers, but he wasn't settling for jumpers too much. He was going to the hoop. So it's that kind of mix, I think, that was really effective. He had a spectacular dunk, which we haven't even talked about yet. It was a vintage Blake Griffin dunk. It's crazy that he's old enough that we now talk about vintage dunks, but here we are. This is how life works. And one thing that isn't even really about X's and O's, it was a chippy game. It was very kind of, there was a lot of stuff going back and forth. And I think when P.J. Tucker was on the floor, he was doing everything he could to use the old tactics that every assistant coach probably told their players to use against Blake Griffin all throughout his kind of high school, college, and NBA career, which is get in his head, like give him an extra bump, like don't make anything easy on him, get in his head, you get him angry, take him out of the game. And I think what you're seeing now is that doesn't work anymore. He's too good, and Tucker tried to do it. He was trying to get, and he, to his credit, he's a good defender. He's a strong guy. He makes shots. but Blake just wasn't biting. We saw Tucker try to kind of goad Griffin into a technical foul, and he ended up getting one on himself. We saw Tucker try to kind of get in Blake's face in overtime, and Griffin scores 7 points in overtime. So I think that there's a little bit of Blake growing up and realizing what his strengths are and realizing how to exploit them more quickly without kind of overthinking, which he kind of has a tendency to do.
Yeah, I think we also have to realize, like, this is how the Suns and Clippers always play, right? Like, Blake and PJ Tucker have a history. Like, Blake, they gotten into it in the preseason. They got into it last year. PJ Tucker pulled in Ibaka on Blake's fun place. Like, it was, they have a history together. This is what PJ Tucker does. He's an agitator. I love PJ Tucker.
Yeah, it's great.
He's fun, and he's like, you know, if fans should think of PJ Tucker the same way, you know, Clippers fans probably thought of Matt Barnes when he first came over to the Clips 2 years ago and had that awesome year off the bench. Like, he's the agitator that you hate to root against, that you hate when he's on the other team, but you love him when he's on your team.
I thought Matt Barnes had cost the Clippers the game when he reached up and committed that foul, but he also played some. You know, he did. It was he played some important minutes. I mean, you know, when the Clippers don't have Jamal Crawford and they're already short on the wing, this game kind of illustrated something about that need. Like, what happens when you lose another guy, given what the lineup considerations already are.
Yeah, that was weird seeing Jamal go out too. Like, that was just an odd that was a baseball style ejection, because that was not a second technical foul. He had no technical fouls, and he just, like, you're out of here now. Like, that was really weird.
It was very strange. It was like the scene in the old Billy Crystal movie Forget Paris,